y'all. Welcome to Pivot with Dr. Malika, and I'm excited. This is episode 84, and we're in season 5. And listen, season 5 has been wonderful. I feel like the things that I desired, the things that I prayed for and wanted to do in this season, I accomplished that goal. And I'm I'm just like, Lord, thank you, right? For helping me to reach my goal and do the things that I wanted to do. So now we're preparing for season 6, y'all. But this is the last episode of season 5, and I wanted to take some time to really talk about pivoting. As you know, the show is called Pivot with Dr. Malika. For those of you who don't know, Pivot actually started as the Chatterbox. And so there was this whole idea that I like to talk. And so I thought, oh, we'll name it the Chatterbox. And then, I began to expand the whole idea of the show that I was doing more than just chattery. But the show had substance and we were having conversations, and the whole idea of talking to women who pivoted. This season is the first season that we had men on the show and talk to them about their pivot experience. And I think it has been so valuable to have the men that I've had on the show. And so we're going to continue to expand in as we move into season 6. So you're going to expect that there'll be more men on the show. But we also have some amazing women who have been on the show and just told their pivot experience. And so I really have felt the need to really kind of close this season off, kind of round it off with a conversation or just to talk about pivoting. I govern my life according to my anchor. The foundation of who I am is that God has ordered my steps, that God is the center and Lord of my life. And so therefore, I recognize that while there are things that I don't feel like I'm prepared for, if I'm getting up every morning and praying and asking God to order my steps and saying, Lord, let your kingdom come and let your will be done in my life, and things happen that are unexpected, you know what? I was ready. I was ready. I think that what we do is we fail to recognize that regardless of I wasn't prepared for this unexpected thing. I think that's an important point. It's important for us to understand that when we experience an unexpected change in our lives, how is it that we can come out on the winning side? Because we've already been prepared for this. We was prepared. We just didn't know it. And so I had to adjust, right? In the pivot, I had to adjust my thinking, my perspective, and I had to say, okay, all right. It took me a little bit, but I had to say, okay, now we've got to make some changes. We got to do some things differently. So, my audience, Pivot family, we experience some unexpected changes in our lives. But if we are people who are God-focused, if we are doing the best that we can in the space that we're in, if we have been blessed with skills and abilities and temperaments and all kinds of other gifts, I believe that even though you don't feel like you're prepared, you are prepared. You are prepared. You may have to broaden your thinking. You might have to stretch a little bit, but you are prepared, right? Because God isn't going to move you to the next place unless you are prepared, unless you do have the tools that you need to go to the next. And a lot of us are afraid because we think that I have to be in control of the preparation process. I have to be in control of my preparation process in order for me to go. I have to navigate it. I have to jot down the notes. I have to. And trust me, there are people out there who prepare and who organize and who put it all together and do what they need to do in order for their stuff to be great. But there in life, if you live long enough, there are going to be some unexpected things that happen in your world that you weren't prepared for. I don't care how much preparation you make. I think about parenting. We find out if you are a parent, if you have had children, we find out we're pregnant. We find out that we're going to adopt, or we find out we're gonna plan to have a surrogate. Whatever the process is, either way, there's some preparation. We're gonna get the room ready. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna buy that, and everybody, we got a registry. We do all the necessary things to prepare. We go to prenatal classes. We watch YouTube videos. We read books. We pray. We do all the things that are necessary. But let me tell you, when that baby arrives, okay, and you don't know its personality until it gets here and lives day to day, listen, you're pivoting every day. Because as much as you have prepared, you don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know what they need, what they want. You don't know what they come into the world with. And so it is so important to understand that there are times in our lives when we prepare. We prepare, right? We can do them as much organizing and preparing as we want to. But if you keep living, life is going to provide you, generously provide you. Life will generously provide you with some unexpected pivots. And so, who are you leaning on? Who are you relying on, right? And what are you going to do next? How are you going to respond? So, I think that that's one point to recognize, is that there are times when we just aren't always prepared, and those unexpected pivots, we feel like we're not ready. And I would say that you probably spent enough time in the space that you were in, that when you pivoted out of that, when you had to make that shift, that you are ready. And so here's the thing that's interesting, and I'm learning. These are some things I'm learning about pivoting. I think about the whole idea of going back. Okay, I know I'm talking to somebody out there. That whole idea of, I miss where I was, and I want to go back. I want to just check in and just see, do I still have it, right? And we could be talking about a relationship, a job, whatever pivot you've experienced. Okay. One of the things that I have found, when you experience a pivot where ties have been severed, I think about it's time for you to move on. A lot of times, because we're not as comfortable moving forward and pivoting into the next, we're kind of struggling with the transition to what's next. What we try to do is go back. And then we don't like how it feels when going back feels uncomfortable. This is just not familiar. And it's because the ties were severed for a reason. The ties were severed, or the connection was cut, so that you can move on and not go back. So, and we have to really come into this idea that when I experience a kind of a pivot where I have to move on and I can't go back, we need to stop trying to go back, because the connection was cut so that you can move forward. So I'm talking to, could be jobs, could be relationships. Why is it that God will cut the ties to something and we make the decision to go back? It is because we are comfortable back here. Good, bad, or ugly, right? It could be the worst situation. It could be an unhealthy situation, and God will pivot you right on out of there. and we go right back. Why? Because it's our flesh is comfortable. We're comfortable. And so when we think about a pivot, when we think about moving into this new place, this new state, this new space, it's so important that we understand that when the ties are cut, when the connection is no more, and understand that that is a part of the pivot. And we talk here about, the whole idea is unexpected, intentional or unexpected changes in your life. And at the end of that, you're still winning. And I will tell you that I've seen, and I've done in my past life, I have done things where the ties have been cut and I went back. I went back into where God took me out of. Listen, a pivot, I'm just going to read this. A pivot in life is a deliberate or sometimes unexpected change in direction. It's an adjustment to a plan, a path, or a mindset, right? Sometimes it's you've got to change what's going on in here, right? And it stems from various circumstances. Some circumstances you didn't have anything to do with, you didn't control, right? And so in your mind, it's because you didn't have control over the pivot process. You think you're not ready to move on. And I'm telling you that when the doors open naturally and organically for you to pivot and move out, whether the circumstance is simple and easy and feels good, or it's challenging and creates uncertainty, if it's time for you to go, it's time to go. And so how do we address, how do we deal with, these pivots, right? The first thing you need to do is embrace the change. It's scary. There's a lot of uncertainty, but lean in. Okay? Lean into the change. Lean in, and however you do that. So maybe you write in your journal, this change is happening. I don't like it, but I'm going to try, right? That's the first step of leaning in. Unlearn, change what you're thinking, lean in, embrace. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And what did I learn from this? What's the learning tool here? What's going to help? What do I need to, my pastor always says, you got to eat the meat and spit out the bones. Where's the meat in this? That's going to help me to grow, and it's going to help me to improve and increase and be more effective and be more of what it is that I'm supposed to be in life, right? What am I supposed to learn from this? And then it's the idea, and I've talked about this, those of you who know, shameless plug, on the Coaches Are In, which is a show here on YouTube. The Coaches Are In, where the three coaches, and I am one of the hosts, we talk about mindset. We talk about the idea of, change and having that mindset. And I definitely, when we talk about confidence, which I'm the confidence coach on the show, how do you build confidence? Part of it is your mindset. View the pivot as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to help others, to expand, to increase, to be more aligned with where I'm supposed to be in the world today, right? What is God saying to me as a woman, as Malaika Turner? What is God saying to me as Malaika Turner, whom He created in my mother's womb? Where am I supposed to be at this moment? And stretch myself and cultivate that growth mindset. Every change that we experience creates new lessons, creates new opportunities, right? Creates new experiences and new opportunities to make an impact. I'm very big on making an impact in your pivot. So as you are experiencing this intentional or unexpected change in your life, what impact are you making on others? Is it positive? You know what I'm saying? Are you growing? Are you helping others to grow? what's the impact, right? And I think, as you are as you are navigating through this pivot, it's really important that you celebrate your progress. When you think about what it is that you've accomplished in the space that you were in, and now it's almost like you are shifting and moving into something new and something different. While it is unfamiliar, celebrate the progress. What did you learn when you were back in that space that you can take into your new space? And, I love this season. We talked to voice actress. We talked to writer, directors. We talked to fashion folks in the fashion industry, some professional athletes in baseball and football. And, and when you think about those folks that we've talked to, it was so wonderful for them to share their story. And it wasn't, what we see on TV or what we see them accomplishing and the things that they're doing on social media. We are like, yes, look at them. They are this, that, and the other. But they come in there, they tell their story about the progress. So I really think that it is important for us to celebrate the progress that we're making throughout the process of the change. It is not easy to pivot. And why? Again, because I'm not always in control. I'm not always in control of my pivot. But I will say that it is important to celebrate where you are versus where you used to be. And that's really critical. And, so as we pivot and we think about the results of pivoting, the one thing that I have learned is that in my particular pivot, had I not, I will say that a lot of times it's easy to stay in the space that you're in because you're comfortable. And comfort does not always help you to get to the next level. Actually, it doesn't. So yes, I'm comfortable in this space or in this relationship, but is it helping me to grow? Am I being fruitful? Am I multiplying? Come on, if you know, you know. Am I reaching who I'm supposed to reach? Am I saying what I'm supposed to say? Am I producing what I'm supposed to produce in this comfortable space? And a lot of times, we will forfeit being aligned with our steps being ordered and God wanting to use us and do great things through us for comfort. We'll sacrifice all of that because I'm comfortable. And so some people will rather be comfortable than to produce and to make an impact and really be all that they're supposed to be in life for comfort. You say go be great and be nothing less. And that's great. But if it's going to pull me out of my comfort zone, I'll wear your t-shirt, but I'm not necessarily sure that I'm going to live the lifestyle. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm walking down somebody's road. I'll wear the t-shirt because I love the color. I love the green ones. I love the red. I love the hoodie. It keeps me warm in the fall and winter. I love it. Thank you so much. I love go be great and be nothing less. But now if it's going to cause me to step out of my comfort zone, I'm not sure that it's nice to wear. But now you're asking me to shift my lifestyle. You're asking me to go be great. You're asking me to tap into the deeper parts of who I am. You're asking me to be challenged. You're asking me to change my perspective and unlearn the things that I've known for 25 years. Are you asking me to step out on faith? Are you kidding me? Are you asking me to take a risk? Are you asking me to talk to people that I've never talked to before? Are you asking me to wait and see what God has for me? Are you asking me to step into this transition and unlearn things and redo things and have a growth adopt a growth mindset and really stretch my thinking? Are you asking me? Please. And the answer is yes. I am asking you, and that's what we do. Pivot with Dr. Malika is all about having these conversations about people who experience this intentional and unexpected change in their life, but they are winning. Why? Because they had to embrace the change. Why? Because they had to step out of their comfort zone. And that creates growth. That's how you grow. That's how you stretch. That's how you broaden your impact. And guess what? That comfortable space that you were in, ties were severed. And so you had to move into this transition into this new space. So you did. So you navigated this new space and you got comfortable. And guess what? There's another space waiting. There's deeper depths. There's higher levels waiting. So, the idea here is to really encourage you to pivot. Don't stop the pivot process. Don't stop your pivot progress. Move on, embrace it, run after it, run after this change, right? Life is short. I mean, you don't have a lot of time to just decide that I just want to be comfortable. You don't have time for that. I don't have time. You don't have time for that. So embrace the pivot, right? Embrace the process, embrace your progress, right? And begin to move forward and begin to do the things that you were born to do. So when I say go be great and be nothing less, I'm hoping that this is something that you make an intentional choice to be, to do, to go be great and be nothing less. Make it a lifestyle. Don't just wear the clothing, but go be great. Be nothing less. That's that and in that decision, you're going to pivot. Things are going to change. You're going to be able to prepare for it, and some you won't see it coming. But who's your anchor? What's your anchor? What's your foundation? What do you hold on to? For me, it's the Lord Jesus, right? But so it's important that we identify the things that are holding us back from pivoting. Um, and maybe that's fear. Maybe you're afraid of change. Maybe you didn't grow up where it was easy to shift and move and be flexible, right? But I'm telling you that in 2024, as we're nearing the end of this year, you said go be great and be nothing less. And that's great. But if it's gonna pull me out of my comfort zone, I'll wear your T-shirt, but I'm not necessarily sure that I'm gonna live the lifestyle. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm walking down somebody's road. Mm. If you're looking to make significant impact on your future, future generations, on your life, then it is time for you to embrace the pivot. Embrace the change. Move, go. Comfort is not an option, especially when you know it's time for you to go. And you're in a space that the spirit of where you are is saying, it's time to go. And you won't go because you're afraid of the pivot. You're afraid to move. You're afraid to step into something that is unfamiliar. You're afraid to uh, you're afraid to even envision yourself in something different. Or the ties have been severed and you are trying to go back. And it's so uncomfortable for you that you are trying to nestle yourself back into that old space. And it's like, I don't even know, this thing even familiar to me, but I'm going to stay here anyway because this is where I'm comfortable. And I'm telling you, if you want to stop self-sabotaging, go with the pivot and stop moving back into an uncomfortable space that you were meant to come out of. So, yeah, y'all. Pivot with Dr. Malaika has been a fun season. I love my guests. I want to encourage all of y'all to go back and check out season 5, New Level. But what we did was really provide you with some stories about pivot experiences that we can all relate to. I'm telling you, because I lived through a very significant pivot, I'm learning so much about the importance of, embracing the process and celebrating the progress and just stepping out. It's uncomfortable, it's scary, yes, but I am more than equipped with the tools that I need, because in the old space, I was being equipped. So when it was time to move forward and do some new things, I know that I have what I need to go to the next, and you do too. So be encouraged, start moving, stop trying to go back to the place where the ties have already been severed. It's over. We're done with that. It's time to move on, right? And just really be great and be nothing less. So thank y'all so much for your support with season 5 of Pivot with Dr. Malaika. It has certainly been a wonderful season. We are preparing for season 6. We've also got some exciting things happening. We're getting ready for the new year 2025, and there's some I cannot wait. It's a secret. I can't say anything right now, but I've got some really exciting things that I want you to be a part of, that's specifically for women. Now, this is specifically for women that's coming up. I'll be letting you know soon, but I just want to thank everyone for supporting Pivot with Dr. Malaika. Please share, please subscribe, please share with your friends if you know that someone is experiencing a pivot.